Happy Friday. I am sitting over here drinking my coffee still, and I'm actually sending out this email called the Takeover Times, which I'm obsessed with because it's going to be like the Takeover newsletter that I'm going to send at the end of every month, where it kind of like gives a reflection of here's what we did in the last month and here's what you have to look forward to. So really obsessed creating that. But today is main character coaching day. I've told you guys this before. I love these main characters. These guests are like they're on fire and they come into this and like they're ready to learn, and I'm so excited. Today is truly like one of my favorite people in Turnip Land. She's coming forward. Actually, I feel bad saying that. I love all Turnip Land. Like I don't have like favorites, but I love this human. I always feel like she sees me. I feel like she's so loving. She's so happy. But we also are both going through like similar journeys right now when it comes to infertility. So I have massive love for her there. And I don't know, it just feels nice to like have someone in your circle that kind of understands you. Anyway, we've also like done like these business things alongside of each other for a long time. So she has requested to join. I'm going to bring her in. I love her so much. She is truly like a shining star, a bright light, someone that I always get excited to see. So without further ado, let me go ahead and approve this request to join.
Hi.
Hi, cutie pie. I'm so excited here. Oh my
Hi,
gosh.
sunshine.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm in a room because like my dogs are crazy and I feel like this room echoes. So if I can, does it sound okay?
You sound great. You have a I mean you look great. Perfect. It sounds I was just doing your intro and Danny put in the comments, she's one of my favorites too. We get it. Yeah, for sure, dude. You
Oh,
are
I love you guys so much.
I'm so excited to do this with you today. I was so happy when I saw like your application come through and I'm like, hell yeah, like let's dive into all the things. So can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so before we get started, welcome to Main Character Coaching. You are already a main character for sure, but I am looking forward to like coaching you through this concept that you have for what you want to quote unquote launch. Before I go into like coaching
Yes.
you and we go back and forth and we talk about all the things in your vision, tell the people who are listening like who you are, where you're from, and what your like business is, who you want to serve. Like just tell us in a nutshell who you are basically.
All right, awesome. So I'm Flesch. Well, I'm Nicole Flesch, but like Flesch, like Fat Fit Flesch is like my name. I feel like that's all I go by now. I'm from New Jersey. I am 36 years old. I'm a sixth grade teacher. I'm a dance fitness instructor. I'm a waitress. But I'm also my newest endeavor is for the past few years, I've been really wanting to create a program for women to help them transform and almost step into their next chapter because I think from my story and going through everything I have in my life, I think that sometimes we attach ourselves to our what kind of our the set of cards that we're dealt with in life. And I think that when we attach ourselves to those stories and those, past things that have happened to us, no matter we all have different stories, I think that sometimes that makes it hard for us to grow because that's where self-limiting beliefs come from and all these things. And my whole thing is I think I've spent my entire life doing everything I can to create my life how I want it, no matter what kind of cards I was dealt with. I want to do that same thing for other women, where I help women really truly step into their potential and who they're meant to be, and really step into their most confident version and really develop a strong sense of self worth.
Whew, I have chills. I'm obsessed. I think that's freaking awesome and amazing. I'm so excited for you, and I really like I feel like you were born to lead this movement. So I'm really excited, and I want I truly want magic for you. I know that like I was sharing before you came on, and I'm sure you heard like we have a similar journey right now that we're on, and I have so much love for you, and I know that you like openly share about that, and that's one thing that
Yes.
I fully admire about you because it's interesting. Like, and I know that this is not about me, and we're gonna coach you very soon here. But like,
Yeah.
I know that you ask me content questions, but then I go and I watch you create content so freely and effortlessly on the things that are hurting me, and I'm like, wow, how is she so like strong and able to be so vulnerable and showing up with such bravery. And I just want you to know that I really respect that about you. And when I watch you, I do feel less alone. So thank you for like opening up about the journey and sharing there. And honestly, it's just like, it's a tough chapter, but it does feel good. Like I know I got to hug you at conference for like an extra long hug, and I think about that hug like often. So thank you
Dude,
for.
I was just gonna say that though. I'm not kidding when I said like there was a moment of like just like I literally felt like our souls just connected in that moment. And I
Yeah,
was like, I didn't want to let go. I was like, okay, I have to let go now.
I
We
know.
had to keep going. But I was like, I didn't want to let go. I don't want to move on.
Yeah, yeah, I know that was very special for me. So just thank you for being you, and I love you so much.
I
um,
love you too.
yeah, we
And
got
I
this.
just really, I do appreciate too everything that you share because honestly, watching you shared everything that you go through with all the things, and I hope it's okay that I say this online, but like all the things that you put up with the IVF and stuff. And when I talked to you at the new level training about it, that also kind of inspired me to continue to go forth with it once I was like so scared. So now I have everything set. I'm going to go through with everything and, hopefully and pray, but it is so nice and reassuring. I feel like having each other to go through this because I think it is such a tough thing that's not talked about as often, and it's really hard to navigate emotionally, physically, mentally, and it's nice having each other to go through it.
Yeah, amen, sister. And I'm excited for you. I know that some people say like don't get too excited, but I subscribe to that. I'm excited for you. I think it's gonna be good. And yeah, all of that to say, I just love you so much. So I think this program that you have in your heart that you want to lead this mission and you want to create this movement for other women, I think it's perfectly aligned, especially like with this chapter. But I don't know you super well outside of like obviously what we're going through, and then where I've like learned to get to know you through Turn Up. I do know a part of your story, like when it comes to your mom and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that this program is coming from a place of that, like where it's like you um have gone through struggles in life, you have maybe been dealt some of these cards that were unfair and been put in a position where you've had a choice to choose, like am I going to crumble, am I going to go down the wrong path, or am I going to rise above and like truly you are this bright happy human. And I know that it's not always like that, I know that for a fact, but I do think it is massively impressive the strength that you have, and that you portray, given knowing some of your past. So am I spot on with why you've created this program?
100,000%. You've talked a lot about, I think, and what's real quick to bring this up. I was going through, how sometimes Facebook brings up memories.
Yeah.
It just brought up back stuff with Q when we did something, and I forgot you had me lead this whole presentation with these women, and I was like, oh my god, like I completely forgot about it. It was on YouTube, and we did the Zoom call, and I was like, oh my god, like we've been working together for so long. I've been learning from you, and you've been pouring into me for all this time, and I think talking to you and kind of like constantly learning and being poured into is so helpful because it's truly made me realize, and I again this is I learned so much from you at New Level when I asked you these questions, is how can you take your story and turn it into this like powerful way to help other people, because your story is what truly makes every one of us so unique and different. Like we can all have similar stories, but no one's going to be exactly the same because we're all such different people, and the way we deliver it is our own magic. So
So
I've really been trying to pour into it and rip the band-aid off because I have been doing this program for so long, and I kept putting it aside and saying, this is, you self-doubt and the limit, all of that stuff comes into play. And I'm like, no, like I know I can help people. And like the only way to, make this better and stronger is to go through it and dive into it. So, I'm ready to rip that band-aid off and just do it.
yeah, it's time. It's time for sure. Because I know you've been talking about this for a while. So I'm going to remind you of like some of your questions from your form. And then if you're like, well, I have different questions now, because I know that it's been a while since you submitted this, that's totally okay. If you're like, I have my questions a little different.
Okay.
So one of the questions that you put here is, how can I structure this program so that it not only inspires women, but also leads to real lasting transformation? Is that still a question that you want to go through?
Yeah, I that's one of the questions I had written down too that I still kept.
Okay, so I want to back up because I'm just going to read your second two questions because they're all very they're all in the
Similar.
same category, in my opinion. So this
Mhm.
other two questions was, what is the best way to hold space for women who are in different chapters but sharing the same journey? And the third question is, how long should the program run and how many activities are too many? So this is all under the umbrella of curriculum development, is what I call this when we're
Mhm.
building out the program. So my question for you is actually, when you ask like how can you structure this program so that it's not just inspiring, so that it's also leading to lasting impact. My question for you, and you might need to take this after we wrap and go think more about it, because I
Yeah.
know like this is a big question. When you think back to like one of the times where you've had to reinvent yourself, because that's the through point here, is reinventing yourself regardless of what's happening to you externally. So when you think back to one specific time where you've had to reinvent yourself, what was the what was and I can guarantee there was an accumulation of turning points, but what was like the turning point where you made the decision in your mind to say, I am this might be an unfair situation that I'm in and I don't like it, but I love myself enough to change direction and to actually like rise above and to pursue a good life regardless of what's going on. What was the moment for you and what happened in that moment?
Okay.
Do you know like
Oh,
when
you're
I
asking me. I was like, I thought
yeah.
you wanted me to think about it and write it down. So I mean, a couple things, and I feel like I always have these kind of realizations when I go through challenges.
Mhm.
Um, I think that going through this whole infertility thing for the past few years, and also too when I lost Lincoln, I know it's like might be hard for people to understand, but like losing your soul dog, like for this dog who's been with me through so many different transitional points in life, I think I honestly felt like literally the why me. You kind of go into this
Yeah.
like victim mentality, like why does this stuff keep happening to me? And I think like I hit this like rock bottom point, like where I just felt so destroyed, and also too like where I've been having all these ideas and I feel like nothing's sticking and nothing's going, and I just felt like I was in this rut. And then it was like I think every time I hit a rock bottom point is kind of like the best things for me, because
Mhm.
then I start really thinking, I'm like, okay, like Nicole, like you've been through so many struggles. How am I going to, like, I think to myself, how am I going to get out of this and take this situation and make it something meaningful?
Mhm.
And I think that as soon as I attach the pain to a purpose, it helps me rise above that. And then I feel like it's a transitional point for me and who I'm stepping into.
Okay,
I don't know if
perfect.
that makes any sense,
Makes
but
total
okay.
what the quote that sticks out to me the most that you just mentioned, and maybe put this in your notes, is tying, and you probably already have this in your notes, but tying your pain to a purpose. And that's the thing that pulls you, that's like your anchor. It's pulling you out of whatever this is. Now, with that being said, I do think that you're going to have a lot of women that join this program who are going to be like, I don't know what purpose I'm into. So to
Okay.
me, that is what your program is.
What?
You help them
Helping
find,
women,
and
helping
I
women find a purpose through their pain.
correct. And that's the transformation because you aren't going to throw the kitchen sink at them. So imagine yourself, you've been invited to join a program for uh, women our age who are grieving the fact that they just lost their soul dog. Like, I mean, honestly, like I have a soul dog. She's fortunately still here. Like she's going to be 10. I can't even fathom. Like I am not even kidding. That's going to rip my heart to shreds. So you join this program where they say we're going to help you turn your pain of the grief that you're experiencing into a purpose, but we're not going to tell you that you can't feel this pain. We're not going to tell you that you're silly for experiencing what you're experiencing. We're not going to tell you that you have to find this big life purpose. This is like the one small thing that you're going to latch onto that's going to allow you to not want to crawl into a hole every single day. And so when you coach them through this, again, you're going to go through this program and you're not going to really know everything. It's not going to feel crystal clear. So I want to give you the permission slip. Like if this is your first time launching this, allow yourself space to fully engulf yourself into paying attention to the women in the room and recognizing like what do they actually need, because you could go into this and you could be like they need to find purpose and use that as the thing that pulls them out of pain, and you could get into this group and they could be like maybe they don't need that. Maybe they need something else, and that's okay. Take them in that direction. But when you go into this, you have this idea of like, my whole mission right now is to bring people into this space who are in pain and they might be at rock bottom, but you're going to call in people who are done with being at rock bottom. So I think that's also very important, is like, you're not calling in the person. We've all been that woman or that woman who's been at rock bottom, and like, we don't really care to pull ourselves out. Like, it just feels like I don't really have the motivation right now. Like, I want to be low. Like, it just is what it is. You don't want to call in that person. You want to call in the person who's done. They're at their I'm done moment, and they're ready to survive whatever is hitting them in the face. Now, you're going to coach them through a series of different things, and only you know this. This is going to be your craft. You're going to turn this into your superpower and keep it as simple as possible. Instead of going into to this place of your mind where you're like, how am I going to change their life? You need to go to a place in your mind of, how can I relieve them of their pain right now in this moment? And that's as simple as, number one, the first phase of your program needs to be them feeling like it's safe for them to admit that they're in pain. So that's like something, and that's heavy, and that's going to be heavy for you to hold. But again, you have to come from the viewpoint of like, what would you need? What do you need? You're in pain right now. What do you need? If you were to, and again, we just had this conversation, like, we got to hug each other. We got to feel each other's spirit. We got to feel like I'm not alone in my suffering. If you can provide that to other women, that's a game changer. Now, from there, they might not be able to hug each other, but there is an energetic vibe in a virtual room when you're creating the space of safety where people are not dumping just to dump, but you're probably gonna call in women like you who are like, I don't want to complain. Like, I don't want to be a victim, but like, I want to talk about this. And so the first phase is they get to talk about that pain. And then you move them through consecutive phases, which you're going to come up with. And these consecutive phases are going to be, okay, now that we've addressed what the pain is and you put it out there and you're in this space of support, I want you to now tap into like, what are the glimmers in your life? Like, what is like still kind of getting you happy? And then dive into that with them. Like, coach them, workshop that in real life. Like, what are these glimmers, and how can we make those glimmers bigger glimmers, day by day by day? And it's moment by moment. And you know that. Um, and so to me, when you ask, like, how do you structure this program from a tangibility standpoint, like these, I would structure this in a way where you have live calls. So you're bringing them into a Zoom room, and everyone has their camera on. Like, again, you're going to set these boundaries and these expectations. Everyone come with your camera on. Make sure you're in a room where you can speak and feel safe for what you're saying out loud. Um, come in comfy clothes, like whatever, like create the vibe. And they're coming to this Zoom call where you're leading it and you're facilitating it. And you're getting them to either drop things in the chat, or you can ask them to come off mute. And you're facilitating the conversation there while also training them through whatever the phase is. And I would do that, like, I would have weekly calls for this transformation, and I would honestly keep it to like 4 weeks. Like, I don't.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just like smiling so big right now because I'm just so excited. So real quick before we keep going with this, because this is like really like I'm like woo-hoo.
Yay.
My so my first workshop that I'm doing live I have for October. It's like a little confidence building workshop, and but it's so funny because as you're telling me this, I'm like, so what I do for Unwritten, because I remember when I first joined your first program, like I think it was was it the online course thing creator, I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. So when I was looking at Unwritten as like this massive workshop. And then more recently, I was like, I'm going to break this into different chapters, and each chapter is going to have a different program. So like my first little workshop that I'm doing live to get the jitters out and to really get myself a feel is, going to be like a little confidence building workshop for women in person.
Yep.
Um, and now what like I feel so connected to is what you just said with the pain to the purpose, because that right there, I just felt instantly my soul come alive. I'm like, I want to do that now. Like,
Yep.
so, and then in my head instantly, I was like, should I write off the other one? I was like, no, I'll keep the other one. I'll get that
Yeah.
workshop out. But this is going to be like, I want to make this my baby next. Like,
Yeah.
this is what I want to make my little plants and water it every day because I
Literally.
really like this.
Yeah, I have goosebumps. Always a good sign. I feel like that's like I think the confidence thing, I think at the time, because I can remember this now, this was over a year ago. At the time, you were in that chapter. It was like confidence
Hmm.
was, your thing. But now, and this is why I always come back to personal brand. Like you can only lead something that you're truly obsessed with. And from this standpoint, like if you're doing the pain and the purpose type vibe, you get to come at this from a place of like, I'm going through this myself. Like I'm not just leading you through this. I'm going to lead myself, but you better believe like this isn't the first time that I've tied a purpose to my pain. I've done this before. So this is why I want to bring you with me because I know how to do this and I want to create a safe space where I can teach you how to do it. And it's like that is this massive movement that you'll create around this particular topic. But to your point, yes, the confidence thing, keep that in your back pocket. You're gonna do that again. Like that's gonna
Yeah.
come to again. Um, so the next question here where you have like what's the best way to hold space for women who are in different life chapters? Holding space is such an interesting skill set. It is something that you'll definitely strengthen over time. I don't think that this is something that people just get to be good at naturally, but I do see, I mean, I know you personally, and I've been in the room with you multiple times physically. You do have a natural knack for seeing people, and you're very warm. So I think it's just having that emotional intelligence around like you're going to be holding a virtual room or a physical room, like whatever, of people who are in pain, and it's a matter of being patient and seeing them. And a lot of times like I've been in so much therapy, so I know like how I very much like clock how they respond. And a lot of what they do is like I will say something or like I'll talk about how I'm in pain and with something and they'll repeat it back to me. And in that moment, I feel so heard, so seen. So I think take that with you. Like if someone's going to drop in there something that's heavy, instead of you immediately trying to fix them, because that's not why they're there. They don't want you to fix them.
Hmm.
Repeat back to them what they said and just let them know, like, I see you. And I'm so sorry. And I'm going to
Yeah.
hold. And I think that to me, you are going to have people in different chapters. You are going to have people who are in different pain. That's the beauty of this space. Or you could go the route of calling in everyone who's in the same pain. And maybe that's the next round where you do call in infertility or, like I mentioned, like the grief of your soul dog. Like there's a huge market for both of those. You get to
There's so
decide.
much pain everywhere. Pain is
Oh,
everywhere.
yeah, dude, you're gonna have a booming business, bro. Like pain is everywhere. um, so yeah. But that's how I would do that. And then the next question here, and then we can go into whatever else you want to talk about. How
Okay.
long should the program run and how many activities are too many? Again, I would keep it to like 4 weeks. I don't think it needs to be super extensive. And you want to have a place where when you're done with that program, and you don't have to have this for the first round, but
Hmm.
like, is there a place where they be working with you, whether that be one-on-one, whether that be like you create the next group program and they filter into that, they get to upgrade, whatever that looks like, you get to be the mastermind behind that. And then how many activities are too many? I think that's an interesting question. Only you know the answer to that, to be honest. But
Yeah.
catch yourself and check yourself on, am I adding activities to feel like this program is valuable myself? Or am I adding activities because these things are going to actually make a difference toward the transformation?
Yeah, that's a great question to ask myself because I think sometimes when even to creating even the first workshop, like I'm like so concerned. I think my biggest thing was when I first was creating my first workshop, the confidence one, and the in-person thing, I really wanted to target all different style learners and stuff. And I was like, well, what if this person does it like this and this person, and this is the teacher brain in me.
Yeah.
But then I also have to kind of accept like, it's not going to be for everyone. And someone might do it and be like, that really wasn't for me. And the person that it is for is going to stick around for the next workshop.
Hmm.
So I think I kind of had to rip that band-aid off of knowing that not everyone's going to like everything in the program, and that's okay.
And they honestly, I love that mindset, but you could honestly reframe that mindset and be like, what if everyone does love it? because at the end of the day,
True.
you're you're the type of person that's going to give your all to this. And what if they fall in love with what you create and it turns into like this crazy thing? But that's not the end goal is not your mission right now. Your mission is
Yeah.
to show up, create this program, let it exist, and then make it better and better and better over time.
Yeah. I love that. I do have another question for you, if
Yeah,
that's okay.
absolutely.
This is where I'm getting so hung up. And for I could this is a great two-part question actually. So for my first workshop, and I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what it looks like. The first 90 minutes is a workshop about it's confidence building, releasing limiting beliefs or whatever. The first part is 90 minutes. I have all different things for 90 minutes. Then I have a VIP add-on that people can do, and it's almost like a 30 minutes of it's going to be a fun dance class, like kind of stepping in, using all that energy to have a fun dance class, and then 30 minutes of hot seat coaching where people get to answer question and answers. Now I struggle with pricing because I'm like, I'm sure everyone has done this where you ask ChatGPT, you're like, hey, how much should I charge for this program that I'm doing? And they were like, oh, like $99. And I'm like, $99? I can't do that to people. Like what? I am struggling with the money piece because I don't know. And again, I know my first workshop, I'm not looking to make this huge profit. Like this is really, it's, I know it's a trial. It's to see how it goes, to what I like, what I don't like, but I really care about helping people. How do I figure out that I don't want to, I
Yeah.
don't, I'm weird. I have a financial, what's it called? My therapist always tells me I have money issues. Like I need to work through these because I have this thing of like, I don't want to charge anyone things. And
Yeah, I think that's very normal. Like you're not abnormal in that, and I think that goes away with time. The more that you help people, the more you'll see the value in your work. And to me, I think it's like I know for a fact, and this is not a flex, but just pulling back the curtain, I know for a fact that I undercharge on everything, and I'm okay with that because I'm still building my empire and I'm still working toward blowing people's minds and collecting results. And so when I think of pricing, I think of it differently now than back when you were an online course creator. And I do a couple of different things. I write down the transformation that I'm going to provide in that program. And I write it very explicitly, very clearly. And to me, if I can provide that transformation and help them avoid costs in other areas. So for example, if you're helping someone through let's stick with the pain
okay.
program.
Yeah.
Let's say that they come to your program and they avoid by being in your program they avoid arguments with their partner. Okay, so they avoid like where they normally would have channeled their emotions and dysregulation into like a breakup or something or like a massive blowout fight, or they're avoiding by being in your program having to pay for therapy, or they're avoiding by being in your program having to go out and party because that's the way that they numb themselves. So you're writing down like what are all the things that they could potentially avoid by being in my program where I'm going to help them with XYZ. So I first list that out. This is the cost of avoidance here. Then I go through, okay, what is like the price point bare minimum that I would charge that would be borderline I might feel resentful towards them because you're going to have to show up on these live calls and give a lot of energy. And if they're paying a low price and you feel resentful towards them, that's going to really mess with the energy of your program. So, what's
Okay.
the minimum? And you're like, below that, it's stupid. Like, they shouldn't, like, I don't want to feel that way towards them. And then what's the price point that feels stretchy? So, the upwards limit where it's like, I would question them paying this. And you have to kind of put yourself in the shoes of like, okay, imagine that someone enrolls and you see it come across your phone as a notification or in your email and it's like so and so Sally purchased XYZ and the price point is so high that you're like, oh gosh, like I don't know, like should I give her money back? Like I don't feel good about this. Like can I hold this? Like I just don't know. What is that price point? And then find the happy medium. Like go somewhere in between there where it's like, and I especially in your first programs, this might be bad coaching advice, but this is what I believe in. I go low. Like and I go low because to your point, I have a long-term vision and the last thing that I want to do is go higher on my first program and then feel like I didn't do what I promised I would do. And then I feel like people wasted money on me because at the end of the day, your reputation here is going to be everything. Now, there is a healthy balance because this is so interesting. But you have to imagine like you are driving down the road and there's a brand new Mercedes, brand new 2025 Mercedes on the corner of the road and it has a for sale sign on it and it says the brand new Mercedes is $5,000. You immediately would not be interested in that Mercedes because you would think to yourself something's wrong with it or it's like not good enough. So people associate value with price. So you really
That's a
have,
great way of looking at it.
yeah, like you have to take that into consideration. Like at the end of the day, what you're providing is going to be valuable, so don't cut yourself short there or sell yourself short. And again, pricing is definitely like a mind fuck, like you gotta go into it like feeling good enough and just know in your heart you're gonna give your all to these people, you're going to help them, and there's gonna come a day where you definitely raise your pricing and that gets to be fun and that gets to feel like I earned that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That is really helpful. I think that that's the part that you just kind of toy with back and forth because I'm like, all right, like I want it to be because I want people to come because I just genuinely want to help people. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, also this is also I'm trying to create this whole business, because I love helping people. So I think like that is a great way of looking at it. And also too, my next question for you is about if I do like after I do my little in-person workshop, not little, after I do my workshop
Yeah.
in person, when I do create this the pain into purpose one, is it better to do like a live, is it like normal to do like a live workshop and then have like calls every week for 4 weeks? Or is it a call once a week? Is that more powerful than have little one-on-one sessions in between?
I think I'm slightly confused on the question. You mean like one-on-one with like people who are
So
in?
if I do a workshop, say I create this workshop and it's going to be a virtual workshop for women to help turn the pain into purpose. When I do this workshop, and I know you said 4 weeks, would it be like a live call for 4 weeks and different things um in those 4 weeks, or would it be like I do a live kind of presentation and then every week it's a different challenge to find how to release your pain and turn it into purpose?
Okay, I see what you're saying. You
Like,
get
am
to,
I doing live calls or recording calls? I think that's what I would say as like.
yeah, you get to decide. My strongest suggestion is I would do everything live that you can.
That's what I thought too. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to, make sure too, because I'm like, I think that's where I could find the most power. And I'm always with this human connection, like I need
Yep.
to feel it. So,
Yep.
okay.
And it's like you're a teacher. So it's like you know how to lead a room. You know how to lead a curriculum. You know how to keep people on task and you know how to like command attention when attention is needed. So use that to your strength. And then at the end of this program, you're going to be able to assess like do I lean more towards my teaching abilities or do I because you're also I mean you're an instructor, so you're like do I lean more towards my teaching abilities or do I lean more towards my coaching abilities, coaching being I like to get in the nitty gritty with people and I'm like a responder, so I want people to come into the chat, I want people to come off mute, I want to go back and forth with them, or do I just want to like really teach them this curriculum? And again, I would say my coaching style has evolved into a perfect balance of both. I like both. I love teaching, I love coaching. So you might find like, okay, I did a little bit too much teaching. I was missing some of the coaching or vice versa. And you get at the end of the program, you get to have that like self-analysis of like, this is how I would do it differently next time. And then you either run that program again or you kind of come up with like a sister program, if you will, and you
Yeah.
test it again. Like you just like you keep doing this over and over and over again. You gotta get this program launched. Like you gotta just
Yeah.
gotta move through it. And I know you know that, but it's like it's time. It's like you gotta
Yeah.
just you're not going to fail. You're going to have fun, but you are definitely learn. Like you're gonna be like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
I want to do it differently next.
Yeah. And I think also too, like even too, like watching from you from the beginning to now, like, when you first started. I remember even too with your workout programs when you did like that whole transition. It's really cool though to see the growth because it's like the only way. Like, I'm sure when you first started, you kind of were just like, I'm just going to do it, see what happens. And now I feel like you're coaching and have a whole business and helping all these women. So I, I think that the coolest thing is just to go, or the best advice is just to go through it
Yeah,
and figure it out as you go. Because
100%.
I think sometimes I know have all the answers in front of me, so I know that it's going to like 100% help people. But I think that after realizing I'm so confident with who I am and that I can help people, that I really am kind of not doubting myself as much as I used to,
Good. Yeah, I freaking love
Yeah.
that. I can see that in you. I can feel that from you too. And Sammy says you're gonna kill it. Love you.
Thanks, Sammy.
Bye. So yeah, I mean, when I think we can wrap this with like, tell us your date. Like, when are you launching?
So, well, the pain and the purpose one I'm going to now really go and dive into so I can get a virtual workshop. But my first workshop for the confidence one that's in person is going to be October. So I'm working with actually two or three different places right now. It's going to be the first 2 weeks in October. So probably Friday nights. We're just finalizing some details and stuff. So I'm really excited for that. My goal was to have it announced for August 31st, and I'm sticking to that.
Yeah.
And I made myself a little Canva workbook that I'm really proud of.
Yay.
So I'm really, pumped for that. And then now I'm very excited to dive in. I think the really great thing is work the workshops is I have so many different ideas because I'm so multi-passionate. I have so many things I want to help women with,
Hmm.
that I like that I can make workshops after workshop. Like there's no end. Like I could keep creating workshops for women.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the whole thing behind Unwritten is like the different chapters and different depths I can go with each one.
Amen.
So
Yeah. You just gotta get them up and get them moving. Like, the amount of times that I've done something and I'm like, yeah, no, that's not the route that I wanted to go. I'm glad I learned it. It's like you just gotta put yourself out there and just make the moves, and whatever you do, don't quit. Don't quit. That's all it is,
yeah,
really. Yay.
very excited.
I'm so excited for you. You're going to kill it. Keep me posted on all the things, please. Like, I need
I
to know
will.
all the updates. I'm cheering for you. I'm your biggest fan. I think you're amazing, and I'm so excited about this program. I think it's very important for the world. And yeah, I just love you so much. Thanks for doing this with me.
Oh, I love you. Thank you so much for your time and energy and love always.
Yay. Sammy says we follow
Okay.
the route and love them all. You're the best. My ride or die for sure.
Oh, I love you guys.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.